Hello, my name is Matt Schnars, and I'm one of the organizers of the Bull City Fresh Start process, where we will canvass, count, and connect to prevent and end homelessness in Durham. This tutorial is part of a virtual training series that community volunteers and other local stakeholders will be required to complete as part of preparation for the components of Bull City Fresh Start. Please review the additional training modules for other important information about the three event components. This tutorial will explain the count phase of the Bull City Fresh Start process. The point-in-time count, or PIT count, is a one-day census count of all persons experiencing homelessness in the community. The PIT count has two components. The shelter component counts persons sleeping in homeless shelters, and the unsheltered portion counts people sleeping outdoors or in places not meant for human habitation. The PIT count occurs annually in Durham and simultaneously in over 400 other communities across the United States in late January. PIT counts began in the late 1990s and have become more organized and well coordinated over the years. The Department of Housing and Urban Development, often referred to as HUD, requires communities to complete the PIT count each year, and the count is required as part of the funding allocation from HUD. The PIT count helps us better understand the characteristics and extent of homelessness in our community. This helps us do a better job with strategically allocating limiting housing resources where they will have the greatest impact. The PIT count is also an opportunity for us to engage and educate the broader community about homelessness. This helps us use our limited resources to ensure that people experiencing homelessness are rehoused within 30 days, which is a key federal goal. Most of the persons counted and reported as part of Durham's PIT count are sleeping in homeless shelter or transitional housing facilities. A secure shared database called Homeless Management Information System, known as HMIS, is used by these programs to record and track the information needed for reporting. The reporting from HMIS allows the sheltered count to be automated in real time and allows the Department of Community Development to work with other shelter programs to ensure the information in HMIS is updated and accurate. The majority of persons counted and reported in Durham's annual count are in a shelter or transitional housing program that uses HMIS, so count volunteers and other stakeholders assisting with the count do not need to count in these facilities. A few volunteers will count people in a couple of churches that open their facilities during the winter months but do not offer year-round shelter. These facilities do not use HMIS. People who will sleep in a location not meant for human habitation are counted as part of the unsheltered portion of the PIT count. 4 to 5 person teams of volunteers and service providers travel to locations such as encampments, streets, cars, trucks, buses, parking decks, retail parking lots such as Walmart, grocery stores, etc., highway exit ramps, over underpasses, hospital emergency room waiting areas, nighttime hours at 24-hour restaurants or grocery stores, and other known unsheltered locations where people go to sleep. We'll use the information we gather from the canvassing phase of the Bull City Fresh Start process to refine our count locations to ensure the count teams are searching the active locations on the night of the count. Recent PIT counts in Durham have resulted in between 32 and 53 persons found to be sleeping in unsheltered locations. The 2016 count identified 32 people. Sometimes volunteers express concern about undercounting when, during the count process, empty encampments are identified, and no persons are found to be sleeping in the locations. This is one reason we began Bull City Fresh Start and have incorporated the canvassing of locations and surveying of people 2 months before the formal pit counts begins. Volunteers should dress in casual and comfortable attire. Please be sure to dress for the weather. Bring your phone, identification, a flashlight if you have one, and a water bottle and snack if you wish. While it is not required, a whistle is good to have in the off chance you become injured, lost, or in some kind of danger count. Nothing like this has ever occurred in previous counts, but it would be good to have just in case. For safety purposes, count organizers will provide everyone with a reflective vest to be worn while you and your count team travel into the community to conduct the count. The count will begin on Wednesday, January 25th, 2017. Count volunteers and other stakeholders should arrive no later than 8 p.m. in the evening at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park, located at 409 Blackwell Street, Durham, North Carolina. The Durham Bulls Athletic Park will serve as the count headquarters. Count teams will travel into the community to conduct the count, which typically lasts between 2 to 4 hours, depending on which locations the count teams are searching. While it may not take long for some count teams to complete the count in their assigned areas, volunteers should be prepared to be out as late as 1 o'clock a.m. on Thursday, January 26, 2017. Parking is available in the lot located at the corner of Jackie Robinson Drive and Blackwell Street, adjacent to the American Tobacco campus. There may also be street parking available since the time of the count will be in the evening. After parking, volunteers should walk to the main entrance of the Durham Bulls Athletic Park and look for the administration entrance on the left or third base side of the park. The door will be locked, but someone will monitor the door to allow count volunteers to enter. Upon entry into the facility, take the elevator to the third floor Triangle Club. Once you arrive on the third floor, go to the sign-in table where you will receive further instructions about count logistics and team assignment. Find your assigned team lead where you will learn about the locations your team will canvass. Once your count team finishes canvassing all assigned areas, all members of the count team should return to the Durham Bulls Athletic Park and sign out. Count teams will consist of teams of 4 to 5 people, and each team will be assigned a team lead who has experience with prior year counts and has been through prior year's pit count trainings. Many of the team leads are professionals who work in homeless housing services. Some team leads are people who have experienced housing crisis in their lives. Each team will have a police officer assigned to accompany the team on their route as they canvass areas of the community. The police officer's role is primarily for safety and security of volunteers and is not to lead the teams or initiate contact with persons who may be identified living outdoors. That said, the Durham Police Department and the Durham Sheriff's Department have historically been fantastic partners and have often forged relationships with people experiencing homelessness in the community, which have been valuable for the count teams, enabling them to locate and engage people in the count process more easily. Each count team will need at least one car and driver. It is possible that some count teams covering the downtown areas may not actually use the car if they elect to walk to their assigned coverage areas. However, we want to be sure each team has a vehicle and driver identified. If you have a vehicle and are willing to drive as part of your count team, alert your team lead at check-in. The Durham pit count geography includes all of Durham City and County. Areas will be pre-identified as part of the canvass phase of the Bull City outreach process. We will also use prior year count locations to guide count teams on where to search. Maps, directions, and general notes about specific locations of where to search for people will be provided to count teams on the night of the count. Some of the locations will be in wooded areas, off railroad tracks, near highway overpasses, and other relatively remote locations. Volunteers should be able and prepared to walk a couple of miles and should use caution with uneven surfaces considering the nighttime hours when the count will take place. Some count locations are near traffic. Volunteers should use caution when near highways or streets. With encampments near railroad tracks, volunteers should use caution and be aware of oncoming trains which could be moving at high speeds. When engaging count participants, volunteers should be courteous and respectful. Announce your presence and purpose from a safe distance before engaging people. Engaging people living in unsheltered environments can be thought of in the way a census worker or salesman would knock on the door of someone's house. Introduce yourself and provide a basic overview of the count purpose, and then ask if the person is willing to complete a brief survey through the mobile app survey tool. Once you have engaged someone and they indicate willingness to complete the survey, the two-person approach works well. One person can stay engaged with the person, maintain eye contact, and hold a flashlight, while the other person can administer the mobile app survey. If people are sitting or lying down, volunteers should bend or squat down to their level to administer the survey as opposed to standing over them or asking them to stand up. Upon conclusion of the survey, volunteer teams should share resource items that will be part of the count team packets prepared by the count organizers. The packets will include VIP tickets for the Connect event, which will occur the next day on January 26th at the Durham Bulls Stadium, a bus ticket, information about Community Life Court, and a community resource guide. In order to ensure the safety of volunteers, it is important to remain with your count team at all times. Do not divide your count team to cover different areas of your assigned location. Do not enter any areas where you do not feel safe. If an area has steep hills or other surface features that you do not feel you can safely walk over, either find another path that is safer or do not enter that site. Volunteers should adhere to police escort guidance and instructions as it relates to safety at all times. In the event of severe weather that causes the count to be postponed, the alternate date for the count will be Friday, January 27th, 2017. You will receive an email by 3 p.m. on January 25th if the count is being postponed due to a severe weather event. So if there is any question about a weather postponement, check your email. If you have not received an email announcing a weather postponement, the count will go forward as scheduled. If there is a postponement, count volunteers and other stakeholders should arrive at 8 o'clock p.m. in the evening at the Golden Belt located at 807 East Main Street, Durham, NC. There is plenty of parking in the front of the building. Go into the main entrance of building number 2 and take the elevators to the 3rd floor in the cotton room. All logistical aspects of the count team will remain the same. This concludes this tutorial on the count phase of the Bull City Fresh Start process. Please review and complete the other tutorials which provide details on the mobile app survey tool and other components of Bull City Fresh Start. Contact our office at 919-560-4570 if you have any questions. Thank you. Goodbye.